Hey, we all have hectic lives, and buying or selling a home can just make things even more of a chaotic mess. If you are moving to the Austin area, what would you need to get comfortable with that decision? Even if you lived in town and you needed to purchase or sell a home, how would you want to be treated? Chris Ott with the Ott Group of Keller Williams Realty has been a longtime friend and was the guy who I worked with to find the perfect property solution for me. I wanted a professional with knowledge of the Austin area to help me with my home search, navigate the paperwork, and negotiate on my behalf. And Chris Ott was the right agent for the job. Chris, his business partner, Teresa Ott Busseau, and their team of 5 agents have helped thousands of people move to and from the Austin area. The Ott family is celebrating over 35 years in business in Austin and plan to provide their real estate services for many more years to come. Their mantra is, your move matters, and that is what they focus on. Just go to their website at theottgroup.com and get connected with the Austin real estate team dedicated to taking care of you. That's THEOTT group.com. You can also call 512-222-6881 or email them at info@theottgroup.com to get connected with them today. Tell them that Stephen with the Parent Portal Show sent you and start working with a professional who is dedicated to your next move. College athletes are generating under $1 billion per year in an unevenly
$1
regulated.
billion.
That's a
$1
lot of money.
billion.
That is a lot of money, Coach.
Man, I can't count that high.
And it's all been in 2 years that it's gotten this crazy this quickly. Right?
That's it. I mean, one of the incredible things about this time that we're in is just the lack of regulation, lack of, guardrails. We keep saying that word. But it is, according to this Sportico article, it goes into the high school component of what we've talked about, how NIL has kind of reached into the high school world. And if you think that there are not any guidelines in the collegiate world, there's even less in high school. And they talk about, how the bad actor component that we've talked about in the past, where somebody enters into an agreement, they don't have full knowledge of what they're signing, they sign their rights away.
Yeah.
Or even the nefarious thing of like having a parent that thinks they have the best interest in their kid's mind, and they wind up blowing through the money, and then the kids turn 18, and they're adults.
Yeah.
Then they're able to go and say, hey, where's the money? And there's no money there. They've spent it. And so
Well, and that's
the
the
article,
story about gymnastic Dominique
yep,
Moseno,
yep.
gold
Team
medal for
USA
Team
athlete
USA.
Dominique Moseno.
Moseno, yeah.
She had $1 million endorsement, and she turns 18 and she doesn't have anything.
Man, that is a heartbreaker right there, Coach.
Well, and I mean that's the only thing that's really kind of came out there was the Coogan law that was out in California, and that was really about more towards the entertainment side of this, where kid actors, the parents had to really be on board, number one. But what they said is within this law is that there's going to be a percentage of whatever they make that immediately goes into a trust, and then that way there's whether it's a truckload of money or just a nominal amount, there's the actual person, when they turn 18, is going to be able to have that money, as opposed to somebody else spending that money on their behalf.
So I get the intent, but the challenge is a lot of those families sometimes they kind of need some of that money. So for all of it to get dumped into a trust, that kind of favors the wealthy. It doesn't favor families that need money and would benefit from having the NIL deal at that age. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you got to do the math here, and it's like for most of these athletes, they're competing not on a local stage. They're on travel teams. They're on state teams that are competing sometime on a on the entire nation stage, a
Okay.
national stage. And if that's the case, not everybody's got that kind of money to be able to pay to get their kids from Maine to Seattle to Miami, and do that. And
Yeah.
to your point is like the money that is being generated by these teams or individuals, there has to be some way that they can use those monies to continue to build their brand.
Yeah.
Um, but the other part is like, where do you find that balance? Is it in a conservatorship, or is it like in a blind trust where you have somebody that is um, able to manage, if you will, from an that is not 100% in the middle of all of it, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. And National Day, signing day is coming up. It's right around the corner.
It's going to happen, and the hard part, you're hearing all the stories that are out there, that kids now are just the money is just ridiculous. And um there's when we started talking about this actual idea of the show and sitting around the table, one of the things that we talked about was how important it is to surround yourself with good
Yeah.
advice, great people that know that business, so that you as the parent can help make good choices, great advice for your kid.
Yeah. Well, in this article on three about the kid, the mom who's sitting in a room with coach and getting these promises, and all of a sudden he's going to call up a donor to help fund for the baseball part of it, and it's like, wow. I mean, great judgment on her part to say, I think we're kind of done with this conversation, but it's just scary a little bit. I guess it shouldn't be scary, and it should be something that you wish there was just more transparency. And again, this is where NCAA has just failed. Come up with the processes, come up with the guidelines on how this should be done, and put the standardized contract in place so that a lot of this under the table money. It's so funny. It's we've all talked about the money's come on top of the table, right? So everyone, now there's money in the game. College players are getting some of the money. Everyone sees it, but it's almost like some of that money is getting slipped back under to do things mischievously again. And it's like, well, this is one of the reasons NIL was supposed to help.
Well, yeah. I mean, everybody's sitting around the poker table, and everybody's got a seat now. But not everybody's got a friend with a wallet full of money that they can turn around to and say, "Hey, I want to go all in on this." And not every, I mean, it's you've said this. It's a case of the have and the have-nots, and
Yeah.
it is 100% the have and the have-nots, because some of these lower D2 schools, these schools that are struggling to meet all the needs of not just football but all the other sports in their portfolio, um, they may not have that donor or collective that can write a check and bring in an impact person.
Yeah.
They just don't have that at this moment, and it's where we're headed. And the parents are the ones that are looking at each other going, are we doing the right thing here?
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of clear information in that article that you talked about. The mom went to the high profile athletes on the team and said, hey, are you getting everything that they said that they were going to give you? And it wasn't like, hey, how much are you getting? Are you getting what you're doing? And they said, yeah, we're getting taken care of. That's all she needed to know. As a parent, that's all you really want to know is like, are you being treated fairly? Are you safe? Are they doing what they say they were going to do? And if those answers are yes, then let's talk. You may not agree to it, but
Right.
you've opened a door as opposed to going, well, you didn't give me the answer I want, and I'm going to shut it.
Yeah. Well, and you can go into that On3 NIL valuation database and kind of look at some of that, but that's just a starting point, and you and I both know, it's kind of like selling your car. What they say you can get in the book and what you can get in the book is it's sometimes different, or what you can get, and it's just like what it sells for retail and what it sells for trade in. Those are some pretty big discrepancies there sometimes.
Yeah, it is in this. You look at an evaluation on the NIL list, and it may be for $500,000, and if that player's needed somewhere, if they're a great linebacker and top program needs a great linebacker for whatever reason, that evaluation could just be a number, not the number.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and again we're talking about rarefied air, right? So this is the top athletes in the college system, and there are a lot of other players that aren't going to have near that kind of valuation. They're not going to bring in $1.5 million over 3 years. They're going to be just happy to get a couple of $100 a month if they can get that, So it's a very interesting marketplace right now, and it's it's still very new, and there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of misinformation. Candidly, I think parents are struggling to kind of know what they should be able to do and how it works for their families.
You've seen prices rise from the dinner table to the pump, but Allstate agents are seeing ways to save you money on insurance. From starting a new policy to bundling coverage or even driving safely, Allstate agents know how to maximize your savings. They'll share their knowledge as they help you personalize your coverage. Because when it comes to seeing all the ways to save, Allstate agents do it best.
Mike Hammer has over 35 years as an Austin area Allstate agent. Call 512-343-6994 or visit MikeHammer@allstate.com.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This is the Parent Portal Show.